Good morning, everyone. Please be seated. members of the class of 2015, parents, family members, friends, faculty, and staff. I welcome you to this baccalaureate service and indeed to the entire series of events that will culminate tomorrow morning with our commencement ceremony. After tomorrow, you, our seniors, will be graduates of Washington and Lee University, a distinction you will carry for the rest of your lives, lives that I'm sure will be ones of consequence, full of accomplishments that will bring yet further distinction to you and your alma mater. These are a happy few days, those strange in some ways, roller coasters of emotions, mixtures of formality, such as our gathering here this morning, and informality, such as the packing of rooms and apartments, one more tubing trip down Goshen, maybe one last visit to McAdoo's, at least until Young Alumni Weekend this fall. There is some sadness in your leave takings and perhaps even a small tinge of anxiety as one chapter of your life reaches its conclusion and another yet to be written looms on the horizon. But let this period be enjoyable with the kind of joy and gratification that comes with knowing you have done well, that you have grown as individuals and become forever a member of a very special and extended community. There is an established rhythm to this series of events here at Washington and Lee. They have changed very little over the years, at least in our recent history. Tomorrow, of course, is a time of celebration for you and for your parents and family as well. Today is one of reflection and giving thanks. Each of you knows that you would not be here today without the support of family and friends, without the guidance and encouragement of your faculty, without the support of staff, without, indeed, the generations of alumni who have come before you and given of their gifts so that you might benefit from the same experience that so profoundly shaped their lives. And so we gather for this baccalaureate service. It arises from the religious traditions of the university, a university founded by disciplined, thrifty, and strong-willed Scots-Irish Presbyterians. They came to this valley in search of freedom from religious constraint and with a desire to fashion a community of hard-working individuals. And from that disposition, they created a place of learning that has always been non-sectarian and non-denominational. The origins of this day go back to the 18th century, and as it was then, it remains a time for us to reflect on how an education shapes the life of a caring individual. For your time here has taught you to share the fruits of your education, to take your life in a direction of service, no matter your career, and to be mindful of ideals that transcend the self. To help us with that theme, I now call upon the members of the university singers who will sing The Road Home.
Tell me where is the road I can call my own.
Thank you very much to the University Singers. They'll be back. We are privileged today to hear from this year's recipients of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Medallion, as chosen by the faculty. The Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award is one of the highest student awards at this university. It is presented to the undergraduate senior man and woman as determined by a vote of the faculty who exhibit Sullivan's ideals of heart, mind, and conduct as evidenced by a spirit of love for and helpfulness to others, who excel in high ideals of living, in fine spiritual qualities, and in generous and disinterested service to others. When the institution makes the Sullivan Award, it appoints the recipient as its representative to bear its standard before the world. Earlier this morning, I had the pleasure to present the 2015 Sullivan Awards to Josephine J. Tarantini, Josie, and Roger Thomas Day. Allow me to share some of their accomplishments with you. Josie is a Spanish major and poverty and education minor from Morgantown, West Virginia. She's an RA, has been a Bonner Scholar, a summer research scholar, and is active in religious life on campus. Josie will be teaching at a local elementary school this year. Roger Thomas Day is a biochemistry, religion, and music triple major from Franklin, Tennessee. Very undecisive, apparently. Thomas is an RA, member of Lambda Chi Alpha and ODK, and is active in the University Singers and other campus musical groups. Next year, while applying to medical school, Thomas will be doing research on improving the quality of end-of-life care at the Palo Alto VA Hospital. I'll now call upon Josie and Thomas to provide two readings that they have chosen to help us reflect on the spirit of this occasion.
Thank you, President Ruscio. It's hard to describe all the emotions that come with ending our time as students at Washington and Lee, but more than anything, I find myself simply feeling grateful. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to come here and for all that I've learned over the past 4 years, which extends far beyond my studies and has shaped who I am and who I want to be. An important part of my growth during my time here has been leading the Washington and Lee House of Prayer. Meeting in the prayer room every night at 9 p.m. for prayer and worship, praying for this campus, has radically deepened my love for God, as well as my love for this university and all of its staff and students. In light of this, I would like to read a passage from Ephesians 3. I've prayed these words many times over this campus and would now like to pray them as a blessing over our class. Ephesians 3:14 through 21. For this reason, I bow my knees to the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, from whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might through his Spirit in the inner man, that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the width and length and depth and height, to know the love of Christ which passes knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to the power that works in us, to him be the glory in the church by Christ Jesus to all generations forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, President Ruscio, for those kind words, and thank you, Josie, for that prayer. Like Josie, I'm humbled and deeply honored to stand before you today and to have the opportunity to share one of my most meaningful texts. As a member of the University Singers, we close every concert with the piece we just performed, Stephen Paulus's The Road Home. In true Debbie Nell fashion, though, this tradition was not begun by our director, Dr. Lynch. Rather, The singers themselves have requested it for years because it so poignantly captures the spirit of our Washington and Lee community. The piece speaks of a calling for home, a home that persists through the hardships of wind and rain, as well as through the beauty of the gold of day, a home that stands unwavering regardless of where we go or how long we have been away. Most importantly, it speaks of a home filled with love, a home to which we do and will always belong. Before our classmates scatter around the world and in the midst of this week's celebrations, let us take a moment to reflect upon this community that we call home. The spirit of Washington and Lee is found not in the bricks of Lee Chapel, not in the columns of the colonnade, but in the people who have and who will walk these halls. This spirit is found in our shared experiences and ideals, in the tragedies and challenges that we have endured together, and in the dreams that we are only beginning to realize. Our Washington and Lee home stems from the relationships that we have formed among our classmates, our families, our professors, and our soon-to-be fellow alumni. Regardless of where life takes us, we must not let these sacred bonds weaken with time or with distance. Rather, we must call upon each other and allow those relationships to flourish in the fertile soil of our shared home. Stephen Paulus's The Road Home. Tell me, where is the road I can call my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I have wandered. Oh, when will I know? There's a way, there's a road that will lead me home. After wind, after rain, when the dark is done, as I wake from a dream in the gold of day, through the air there's a calling from far away. There's a voice I can hear that will lead me home. Rise up, follow me. Come away is the call, with the love in your heart as the only song. There is no such beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me. I will lead you home. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie and Thomas, not just for those readings, but for all you have contributed to university life these last 4 years. We are privileged and honored this morning to have Ann Holton deliver our baccalaureate address. She is a distinguished public servant, judge, advocate for children and families, former First Lady of the state, and now Secretary of Education in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And she knows Washington and Lee well. The family connections are tight. Her mother, Virginia Jinks Holton, is a former trustee of Washington and Lee. Her father, former distinguished governor Linwood Holton, is an alumnus of the class of 1944. Her husband, Senator Tim Kaine, was our law commencement speaker a couple of years ago. You will hear much more about her in just a few minutes when we bestow upon her an honorary Doctor of Laws. But now please join me in welcoming Secretary Holton to the podium.
You all look great out there. I hope you won't be too jealous of us up here in the shade. Thank you, President Ruscio, for that gracious introduction. It is an honor to get to thank you, especially in person, for your devotion and leadership here at this very special institution. I know the seniors, family, and friends join me and the faculty in applauding your remarkable leadership here. I am particularly grateful for your work, among other things, on the Washington and Lee Promise, a remarkable promise indeed that helps counter the continuing inequity in educational achievement in our Commonwealth and a nation. Addressing that inequity, in my opinion, is one of the key moral challenges of our time and a major priority for Governor McAuliffe's administration, and we all join in our saying thanks to you for that and for so much else at this university. Will you join me in a round of applause for President Ruscio? And thanks also to the University Choir. Wow, the University Singers, that was just fabulous, and I look forward to hearing you again later in the program. So, Mr. President, platform members, distinguished guests, class of 2015, proud parents, family, friends, I'm honored to be with you today to celebrate this milestone that's been 4 years in the making. Seniors, you've earned it, and I would be remiss if I didn't start by offering you my heartfelt congratulations. Congratulations also to Josie and Thomas. Go teachers, we need you, and Thomas is going to do great things at the intersection of religion and medicine. I'm excited to watch your future paths. I would also like to say congratulations to the people in the crowd today who have played a pivotal role in your lives, seniors, the educators, mentors, loved ones who've helped you along the way, who've molded you, supported you, inspired you to achieve great things. Their success is your success. In fact, graduates, will you join me in a round of applause for those who helped you get here today? So, graduates, in just a little while today and again tomorrow, after you've hugged your parents and hugged your grandparents and hugged your aunts and uncles and hugged your great aunts and uncles and hugged your siblings and professors, seriously, seniors, this is not a time to hold back or stand on formality. This is one of those special chances in life, you don't get that often, to say thanks, to say I love you, to say all the schmaltzy things we don't normally say. So take those chances. And after your arms are all about to fall off from all the hugging, you'll have one more embrace to give, because the real world will be waiting right outside. So your graduation is relatively late in the spring, so I can share with you a phrase from one of my fellow speechmakers this season, Stephen Colbert, who assured Wake Forest seniors this year that what lay them before them was merely, quote, a dark chasm of yawning uncertainty. But don't worry, you don't have to face the future for like 2 hours. Well, your commencement isn't until tomorrow, so you have almost a whole day to prepare for the future. That's plenty of time for Washington and Lee student anyway, because you've been preparing for the future your whole time here. By the way, I love your college motto, not unmindful of the future. I love the double negatives, the civility, the humility of that. The focus on what's ahead, yet also the chance to reflect in the present. So, as you graduates head into the future, I thought perhaps I'd take my time today to offer up a bit of advice based on my parents' lives. My parents, Linwood and Jinx Holton, are, after all, the reason that I'm here today in so many senses. The reason why I'm on Earth, the reason why I am the person I am, and most specifically, because of their close ties to W&L, why President Ruscio asked me to speak today and why I accepted. Washington and Lee is close to my heart through them both. So President Ruscio told you a bit about them already. My dad started at Washington and Lee in the tense pre-war days of September 1941. A country boy from Big Stone Gap, got here by bus that first day with nothing and no one but himself and his trunk. When Pearl Harbor was bombed immediately following December, life changed suddenly for him and his classmates. He entered a naval officer preparation program that kept him on campus for several more semesters before he went off to the Pacific in a submarine. He got his degree actually while still in the Pacific, Washington and Lee having generously recognized some of his credits from midshipman school and submarine school. In fact, Dean Gillum wrote a letter to his dad and said, well, Linwood's actually got enough credits. We could send him a diploma right now if you want. He was heading towards the Bachelor of Science, but he's got enough for the Bachelor of Arts. What do you think? And my grandfather, who'd never seen a Holton name on a male Holton name on a diploma, said, send him whatever you got. But he returned here after the war for one more semester as a graduate student to earn his way into Harvard Law School. And I have many fond memories of visiting with him here in Lexington and hearing about all his years here. Many wonderful W&L stories, but I will resist getting started on them other than to say it's clear to me that this has always been a very special place. My mom's ties to W&L came later. After her graduation from Wellesley, after marrying my dad, raising 4 kids, serving as Virginia's First Lady during Dad's term as governor, she was appointed to your Board of Trustees in 1986. Those were interesting days. She was one of the first women on the board. She saw the first class of women granted degrees here after the school went co-ed just before she joined. She helped preside over a significant expansion of the law school and came to love this college on her own, not just through Dad. So those are the chapters in my parents' lives that connect them and me to Washington and Lee, and thus to you. I think of them both a lot these days as they live their final chapters gracefully together. They're 89 and 91 years old, married 60 plus years. They've lived many significant and interesting chapters, and I thought I'd share particularly a couple of life lessons from each of them that I've gleaned from those chapters that perhaps may be helpful to you as you head into your future. So, jumping back a bit, my dad was elected governor of Virginia in 1970. He had advocated all his life for racial reconciliation in Virginia and announced in his inaugural address his intention to help end racial segregation. When he took office, he acted immediately, appointing individuals from diverse backgrounds to various positions in state government, boards, and commissions for the first time in Virginia's long history. As you can imagine, these positions didn't exactly make him popular at the time. And then just 7 months later, in the middle of his first year in office, and I know what a crazy time that is now from having been through it with Governor McAuliffe, you barely know where the bathrooms are. The very few months into his time in office, he was given an even bigger chance to put his values in practice. An unexpected court decision that summer demanded that the Richmond schools desegregate immediately. My siblings and I were all school age, all attending all-white schools within Richmond City. The city was tense. The atmosphere was potentially explosive. While other Southern governors, not long before, had helped lead massive resistance, my dad and my mom at his side led by example, enrolling my siblings and me in previously all African-American schools. On the first day of school that fall, my dad took my sister to the high school with the local, national, and international press in tow, while my mom took my brother and me to the middle school with a little bit less fanfare. I hope our small actions there helped smooth over a difficult transition for our community and nation. It certainly gave me a great education in all kinds of ways. Most importantly, what others may have seen as a stumbling block or a problem or at best a challenge to address in due time, a chance for a speech or two, my dad saw as an opportunity to live his values. You see, his philosophy of life has always been summed up in 2 simple words: opportunity time. In fact, he used to wake us up in the morning. How he got away with this, I do not know from my years of parenting, but when we were children, he would wake us up in the morning frequently with a rousing shout of, "Opportunity time, kids!" You see, he was and is fundamentally a glass half full guy. He chooses optimism. That's the first secret of his success. And just as important, he has always had an uncommon ability to see, to discern opportunity where others might see it. People have often said my dad showed courage that summer in 1970, but he would say he didn't feel particularly courageous. For him, the decision was a pretty straightforward one. It was easy. It was not without consequences. Frankly, it ended his political career in Virginia, but it was also the seminal moment, really, of his life, and was a big step forward for our Commonwealth and our nation. So what can we learn from my dad? Well, we must always be on the lookout for opportunities. Know your values, know your goals, and be on alert, ready to jump in when life presents you opportunities to act on beliefs. Now I turn to my mother. She was a key part of my family's big moment back in 1970 and has always been my dad's partner in his political career. But she's also been a tireless, multitasking mom. And she's led an active life of volunteerism. In addition to her service here, she served on the board of another university a little ways east. We will go unnamed for now, and on numerous other boards and commissions. She's advocated for high-quality early childhood education, the arts, and the environment. So what can I learn from my mother? Well, first, the value of hard work. My mom has led and continues to lead, now in her late 80s, what Teddy Roosevelt called the strenuous life. She has no use for wasted moments and has wasted very few ever. Her family, her friends, her fellow pickleball players at the Y all stand in awe of her endless reserves of energy and enthusiasm. She is a Martha and not a Mary from the Bible story, if you know it, and thank heavens for the Marthas of the world. She was excited when I got my cabinet position. She figured she might get to borrow my parking space when she comes to the General Assembly every year to lobby for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's goals, saving the Bay. So that leads me to another lesson I learned from my mom. One can get a lot done in life if one does not care who gets the credit. She is a workhorse, not a show horse. Despite her many accomplishments, she has never expected deference or attention. I remember when she served on the Board of Trustees here at Washington and Lee, she worked consciously to listen much more than she spoke. I've been on Habitat for Humanity builds with her. She's done a lot of them over her lifetime. She's been a tireless worker for Habitat. And when I was First Lady, when my husband was governor, we would occasionally do Habitat builds together. And I must confess, they were sometimes what I call photo op builds. I was out in front with the cameras, but she's back swinging her hammer at age 80 plus with the real volunteers while the pictures are being taken. That's my mom. So, 4 essential life lessons. Live life optimistically. Be on the lookout for opportunities. Jump in vigorously and don't worry about who gets the credit for a life well done. These are some of the lessons I've learned from my parents' lives that I offer to you today. I followed their guidance when I did my small part in that integration saga 40 plus years ago, and it's made its mark on me as a legal aid lawyer, as a juvenile court judge, as an advocate for foster care reform, from in my time as First Lady all the way to my current gig as Secretary of Education. I think of it every day now when I work with Governor McAuliffe to help create the new Virginia economy. It's made its mark on my personal life as well. When my husband Tim and I, through happenstance, visited a small black Catholic church in Richmond soon after we moved there together in 1984, we saw an opportunity. Not many white people, after all, get the chance to experience what it means to live in the minority within a community. Over 30 years ago, we joined that church, and now it's been our church home for those many years. We were married there. All our children were baptized there. We've heard a lifetime of great gospel music. We have fast friends from all walks of life. We saw opportunity, and our lives have been enriched. So, I offer up my parents' legacy as you embrace your futures in a post-Colbert world. My dad wrote a memoir. It includes lots about his W&L days, by the way, called Opportunity Time, of course, and I could use that line as my closer. But instead, I'll finish with a country music variation on that theme I recently heard from songwriter Mark Sanders' song, I Hope You Dance. It ends like this. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. Graduates, I hope you dance. Welcome to your dance. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Holton, not only for those words this morning, but for your service to the state and for what your family has given to this university. I now recognize Provost Wuba, who will read the honorary degree citation.
Ann Holton, lawyer, judge, advocate for children and families, champion of education, We'll celebrate the countless ways that you have served the people of your native Commonwealth of Virginia. We also welcome you home to Washington and Lee University as a member of our extended family, the daughter of our esteemed 1944 alumnus, Governor Linwood Holton, and our trustee emerita, Virginia Jinx Holton. You made an impact on education in Virginia, and indeed in the country at an early age. In 1970, you and your siblings enrolled in majority Black inner city schools as part of court-ordered busing in Richmond. That symbolized your father's opposition to segregation and his stated belief in aristocracy of ability. You since have said that entering Mosby Middle School was the greatest gift your parents gave you, to be part of something bigger, something that mattered. After attending the public schools of Virginia, you distinguished yourself at Princeton University and Harvard Law, returning to the Commonwealth to serve as legal aid lawyer, working with low-income families, and helping to create an award-winning volunteer lawyers program in Richmond. From 1998 until 2005, you served as a juvenile and domestic relations district court judge, including a stint as chief judge of the court from 2000 to 2003. In 2006, you moved into Virginia's executive mansion for the second time as Virginia's First Lady after the election of your husband, then Governor and now U.S. Senator Tim Kaine. You therefore became the second daughter of a Virginia governor to become First Lady of Virginia. The first was Thomas Jefferson's daughter, Martha Jefferson Randolph. As First Lady, you worked to ensure that all of Virginia's young people have permanent, stable family connections and the community support to sustain them. Your For Keeps Families for All Virginia Teens initiative produced a dramatic increase in the successful placement and retention in permanent families of at-risk Virginia children. Your abiding support for education led to your post with the Great Expectations program with the Virginia Foundation for Community College Education, which works through coaches at community colleges to improve access to higher education and success in that field for Virginia's foster youth. In 2014, Governor Terry McAuliffe appointed you Virginia Secretary of Education, citing your lifetime of experience with Virginia's public schools, your public service on behalf of Virginia students, and your passion for creating opportunity for all of Virginia's children. Ann Holton, advocate for children and families, champion of quality education for all of Virginia's citizens, esteemed member of Washington and Lee's extended family, your commitment to justice and opportunity for every person serves as a model for all of us. We are honored to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you, Ann Holton, the degree of Doctor of Laws of Washington and Lee University, honoris causa. Secretary Holton, thank you again for your thoughtful comments, and thank you to the university singers and their director, Shane Lynch, and especially the seniors for their meaningful contributions to our ceremony this morning. Their work is not yet done. In just a minute, they will lead us in the W&L hymn, but before they do, let me wish all of you an enjoyable 24 hours, your last as students at Washington and Lee. Let it be among the most meaningful of your times together. And after we hear the W&L hymn in just a few minutes, we will be adjourned, and you can head over to lunch in Cannon Green. And my advice for tomorrow fluctuates between bring an umbrella or sunscreen. So pack both. And now please rise for the W&L hymn.
In the